All right, chat. Want to join a cult?
Heaven's Gate.
Ooh,
Founded by Bonnie
this one's cray-cray.
Nettles and Marshall Applewhite, who identified as the two witnesses of revelation from Christianity, the Heaven's Gate cult believed that followers could transform themselves into immortal extraterrestrial beings by rejecting their human nature, and they would ascend to heaven, referred to as the next level or the evolutionary level above human. They believed that the Earth was about to enter a doomsday event, and that the only way to survive was to leave their human bodies and ascend to a higher level of existence. They thought this could be achieved by boarding a spaceship they believed was trailing the Hale-Bopp comet.
How do they come up with this shit? Do they just take like a lot of acid or something?
Which appeared in 1997. When the comet arrived, their website was updated with this message, and shortly after, the 39 members were found dead, as they committed mass unalivement in a ritual, believing that their deaths would allow their souls to board the spaceship. People's Temple. Founded by Jim Jones in Indianapolis, this cult combined...
Yeah, so this actually celebrates anniversary today. Do you see that? Celebrate anniversary. That's not what that sounded too cheerful.
...elements of communism, racial equality, and Christianity, even though he criticized the Bible and traditional Christianity itself. This made them garner a mass following, but with time, the cult started becoming more hateful towards its defectors and the media that started to investigate it, harassing them. To get away from their scrutiny, the People's Temple went to Guyana and founded a settlement known as Jonestown, which...
Yeah, I know. Look at this old school site. Not only is this so this is from the first cult, but I'm pretty sure... Look, request for material, you can email them and someone actually replies. I remember old like threads about this online where they email in because they left behind, I think 2 people of the cult were left behind to basically, maintain the website and answer questions, things like that. Which I wonder if they, So anyone volunteering to not take their own life? They're like, yeah.
Reached a population of 900 people in 1978. It's around this time that U.S. Representative Leo Ryan, who was investigating claims of abuse within the temple, visited Jonestown. During his visit, a number of temple members expressed a desire to leave with him, and on November 18th, some accompanied Ryan to the local airstrip at Port Kaituma. There, they were intercepted by temple security guards, who opened fire on the group, killing Ryan, 3 journalists, and one of the defectors, as well as injuring 9 others. That evening in Jonestown, Jones ordered his congregation to drink a concoction of cyanide-laced, grape-flavored Flavor Aid. In all, 918 people died, including 276 children. Some members resisted and were injected with fatal doses of cyanide, and Jim Jones himself likely died from self-inflicted gun wounds. Aum Shinrikyo. This one was founded by Shoko Asahara, a Japanese man who claimed to be Christ, and that his mission was to take upon himself the sins of the world. He said that he could transfer spiritual power to his followers and ultimately take away their sins and bad deeds. And he predicted that a nuclear apocalypse instigated by the United States would have happened soon, where everyone would have died, except his followers. It's also said that Asahara interpreted the Tibetan Buddhist concept of pawa in order to claim that by killing someone contrary to his group's aims, they were preventing them from accumulating bad karma and thus saving them. This gave them a reason to believe that they were doing them a favor by killing them.
Holy mental gymnastics.
Why, in 1995, they carried out an attack on the Tokyo subway system using sarin gas, where 13 people lost their lives and over 1,000 people were injured. They had done other bioterrorism attacks before, but this time Asahara had been made aware of a police raid scheduled for March 22nd and had planned the Tokyo subway attack in order to hinder police investigations into the cult and perhaps spark the apocalypse they believed in. 13 of the senior Aum management, including Asahara himself, were sentenced to death and later executed in 2018, while many others were given...
Wow, that was recent. What? Dr. Homie, 16 months people pack. Can I get a welcome to jungle? Welcome to the jungle, man.
Prison sentences up to life. MRTC. The Movement for the Restoration of the 10 Commandments of God was founded by Credonia Morinda and Joseph Kibwetir in southwestern Uganda, with both claiming that they had seen the Virgin Mary.
Did he just say, everybody in Uganda knows Kung Fu? And the Do You Know That Way meme. Wow.
That they had seen the Virgin Mary. This cult put an obsessive focus on the 10 Commandments, going as far as discouraging talking for fear of breaking the 9th commandment, fasting, and forbidding sexual relationships. Movement leaders declared that the apocalypse would occur on December 31st, 1999, and when that didn't happen, the movement started to fall apart, with many members allegedly requesting their money back. Another date was chosen by leaders for the apocalypse to occur, with March 17th.
Why would they choose Such a date that's gonna happen so soon, man. Just say like 10 years from now.
2000 being announced, and the movement held a huge party at Kanungu. When the members entered the building to join the party, the doors and windows were covered with wood to prevent them from leaving, and there was an explosion, making the building go on fire and killing all 530 people.
Oh my God.
Several days before, movement leader Dominic Katari Babo had been seen buying 50 liters of sulfuric acid, which may have started the fire. There were also many poisoned people, and the death toll amounted to 924. The whereabouts of
what was end with everyone dying?
the 5 principal cult leaders are unknown, all having presumably escaped.
Are there any examples of an actual, like, successful cult, I wonder? Like a cult that's actually just wholesome, takes care of each other, provides for society as well?
I am a member of the cult of Death Stranding, which is why I am watching this stream today. Our head priest, NymN will ascend to God by playing Hideo Kojima's masterpiece, Death Stranding.
Guys, I don't know why you're saying Scientology. They've done a lot of bad things in Scientology. They've, like, kept people prisoners and shit. And they shun the fuck out of you if you ever try to leave. You know, we knew a lady, like, it was sort of a friend of mom, not really, more like an acquaintance. She got kicked out of Scientology. I will never forget that because I find it impressive. Because she was a pretty, like, intense woman. You have to be fucking intense to manage to get kicked out of a cult. But she was too much. She was too much for the Scientologists. Mormons are very healthy or wealthy.
Church of the Lamb of God.
Why is your Donos TTS AI so bad? It's not bad. It's Moxie.
LeBaron, who was one of the most notorious figures in the history of Mormon fundamentalism due to his violent and authoritarian leadership style.
Hey,
he believed in the doctrine
Nym,
of blood atonement.
Can you welcome me to the Hawk Tua? Get it like welcome to jungle. But like I replaced it with the Hawk Tua meme. So it makes it funny because the Hawk Tua meme is like, it goes like, oh, you gotta give him that Hawk Tua. So it's pretty funny that the meme is replacing the jungle within this message. But I do know that humor is subjective, so maybe you're just not smart enough to understand this one. It's all good.
Wow, thank you, fellow human being, for that joke. Welcome to the Hawk Tua.
Which required that a sinner must have their blood shed in order for them to have a place in heaven. For this reason, he ordered the murders of multiple people, including his own brother Joel, who led a rival polygamist group. While he was incarcerated for a short period of time, he released pamphlets and books, insisting that he was the Mormon one mighty and strong, and that, as God's representative on earth, he could decide who should die for their sins. When his other brother Verlin took Joel's place in the rival organization, he wanted to execute him too, and since he feared for his life, he went into hiding. In an effort to flush him out, on December 26, 1974, Ervil's underage wife and her
There's a video game named after this, no?
brothers raided Los Molinos, throwing firebombs at houses and shooting residents. This
Cult
led to
of
the
the
death
Lamb.
of 2 young men and the injuries of 13 others. Ervil was arrested again, but re-released because of a lack of evidence. During the following years, multiple people tried to expose him,
Ervil.
and they all got
His name is actually Ervil?
killed, including his pregnant teenage daughter, Rebecca. When the plan of killing Verlin was reinstated, they decided to kill Rulon Alred first, the leader of one of the largest polygamist sects, in order to then kill Verlin when he attended his funeral. They aborted their mission when they realized that police were stationed all around the funeral area to protect the mourners. He finally got caught and imprisoned by U.S. authorities, and he continued to write testaments for his followers from his jail in Utah. One of these, the Book of New Covenants, contained a list of 50 people that Ervil marked for blood atonement, and a list of who should succeed Ervil as leader of the cult. After Ervil's death in 1981, his cult splintered into multiple factions, which were run by several of Ervil's teenage sons. They had a bloody battle, each claiming to be Ervil's true successor, the Manson family.
Mods Ban Weebs, 57 months. Welcome to the Hawk Tua.
Led by the famous criminal Charles Manson, the group lived an unconventional lifestyle, frequently using psychoactive drugs like LSD. Most of the members, which were approximately 100 at their peak, were young women from middle-class backgrounds, many of whom were attracted by hippie culture and Manson himself. According to group member Susan Atkins, the members of the family became convinced that Manson was a manifestation of Jesus Christ and believed in his prophecies concerning an imminent apocalyptic race war called the Helter Skelter. In August 19...
Which comes from the Beatles song. He listened to the Beatles and went crazy. I don't know what that means.
1969, Manson ordered his followers to carry out a series of brutal murders. Over the course of 2 nights, they killed 7 people, including actress Sharon Tate. These murders were intended to incite the racial war Manson had predicted. Manson was sentenced to life in prison, where he remained until his death in 2017.
Where's the... I saw you linked the... This is classic. If you haven't seen this, this is Charles Manson in one video.
People look at you today, 20 years later, and they still have no idea what you're about. Tell me in a sentence who you are. Nobody.
NXIVM. Founded by Keith Raniere in New York, it was
You showed it to the Beach Boys and they shut him down?
initially a self-development group, but it evolved into a cult with a secret society within it called DOS, where multiple abuse cases happened. Raniere convinced the members that his semen had supernatural abilities to heal women. The only way for them to minimize the abuse was to recruit more women, so the burden could pass on to them in what looked like a pyramidal scheme. In order to force them to keep the secret, they had to provide nude photographs and false confessions for blackmail when entering the cult, and they were branded with the initials of Raniere and Mac, the leaders of it. In 2019, Raniere was convicted of various crimes, leading to 120 years of imprisonment. Penza Recluses. Also known as the Heavenly Jerusalem cult, it was founded by Pyotr Kuznetsov, who convinced his followers that the end of the world was imminent and that they were the chosen ones who would be saved. The group's members were encouraged to withdraw from society, rejecting modern conveniences like barcodes, social security, and other national identification numbers and passports, as they are said to feature satanic imagery and other symbols, such as the Eye of Providence and the number of the beast. In November 2007, between 29 and 35 members of the group holed themselves up in a cave, threatening to explode if authorities or others tried to intervene. Kuznetsov had told them to hide themselves away, to pray and await the end of the world, which he predicted would take place in May 2008, even though he wasn't there himself and was placed under police arrest. Between March 28th and 31st, 21 members came out after having health problems, and after melting snow caused part of the cave's interior to collapse. On April 3, 2008, Kuznetsov was taken to a hospital, where officials said that he may have attempted unalivement after realizing his prediction had been wrong. Finally, on May 16th, the last 9 members came out of the cave due to toxic fumes produced by decaying corpses. 2 fellow cult members had passed during their stay in the cave. Order
Fucking
of the Solar
morons.
Temple. The Solar Temple claimed to be based upon the ideals of the Knights Templar, and, led by Joseph de Mambro and Luc Jouret, it was created in Switzerland. As an esoteric movement, the teachings of the Solar Temple were only given to those advanced enough in the organization, who were the most likely to die, with those left surviving being the lower ranking, who had less access to the ideas of the group. This has caused difficulties in investigating their beliefs by scholars. What we do know, though, is that the star Sirius was a focal point, as they believed it to be the home of the Ascended Masters. They thought that these Ascended Masters arrived on Earth and inhabited Agartha, an underground spiritual realm popular in esoteric thought, and that the Masters were effectively souls with the ability to manifest in physical form. Even though both the Masters and human beings...
Man, they really just make up whatever shit sounds cool.
Were perceived as souls who were merely temporarily occupying their bodies before reincarnation. They also believed that advanced members could, at will, decorporealize. In one of their rituals, high-ranking members could witness the Masters manifest in the underground chambers of the group, in what were actually holographic shows. At some point, however, a mix of investigations and discovery of lies from its members led to most of them leaving, with only the core members remaining. Given the scale of the issues facing the group leaders, it was decided they would transit to Sirius by
the Scientology, the guy that founded Scientology literally wrote science fiction before he did, right?
Getting rid of their physical bodies. To prepare for the transit, specific missions were given to the most faithful members, such as eliminating the traitors and helping those who refused to leave their physical bodies to transition. This meant killing them. Mass unalivement rituals started, and an estimated 74 people lost their lives. The Ant Hill Kids. It was...
Gray, what's up, my dude? How's it going? 23 months. Happy Monday. Thank you for the resub.
Founded by Roch Thériault in Canada, who convinced a group of people to leave their jobs and homes to join him in a religious movement, a commune where they could listen to his motivational speeches, live in unity and equality, and be free of sin. In actuality, the group faced cruel acts of abuse, which I cannot even say without this video getting banned. He prohibited the group from remaining in contact with their families, and fearing the end of the world, he claimed that God had warned him that it would come in February 1979.
Wow.
In 1978, in preparation, Theriot moved his commune by hiking to a mountainside he called Eternal Mountain, claiming that
I saw an ad for a book by the Scientology founder in my subway recently. Oh. I mean, Scientology will do a decent amount of advertisements too, but you might not always know it because they very rarely introduce themselves as Scientologists because they know that most people will instantly stop listening if they say that. So they'll use other terms instead. Dianetics, for example.
they could all be saved. There, Theriot made the commune build their town while he relaxed, comparing them to ants working in an anthill and naming the group the Anthill Kids. When the apocalypse did not occur, he defended himself by saying that time on Earth and in God's world were not parallel, and that therefore it was a miscalculation. To expand the community as well as keep the members devoted, Theriot married and impregnated all of the women in the commune, fathering over 20 children with 9 female members of the group. When the members had medical problems, he would perform amateur surgeries, which even led to the demise of a woman. After one of his members escaped and contacted authorities, Theriot was arrested in 1989 and spent the rest of his life in jail, until he died at 63 years old, when he got assaulted by his cellmate with a shiv.
Damn.
If you want to discuss this video or suggest an idea for the next...
Jesus, man, these poor people, they prey on people with hopes.
There's a best of internet daily dotes. There's the new unusual memes. This thing looks insane.